week's episode of VIP Boxing's Bell to Bell podcast. As usual, I've forgotten what number it is, but it's about 173, 174, I don't know, but it's just around that anyway. Thanks for joining us. You know the man in the middle there, John Evans. All excited for this weekend's Super Bowl or whatever it is that they're doing in America this weekend. I think it's the halftime entertainment John's really there for. But welcome, John. Hey, and what a guest this week. I think it's the third time we've had the unified world Super-Bantamweight champion, IBF, WBO, IBO.
Do we count that? Yeah.
Yeah. World Super-Bantamweight champion, Ellie Scotney. Ellie, how are you? Okay?
I'm all good. I'm grateful to be. Even though I was a subs, you pulled me off the bench for this, but I'm gonna take my place.
But you know what? It's good to see you. You know what's great last week? It wasn't just a performance last week. Was all the love you were getting from a lot of people afterwards. Where people in boxing always knew you before, but I just saw a lot more written about you on social media over the last week, and I thought that was lovely to see. Because I did usually a boxer wins a fight, and they can look sensational. One person moan. I didn't see one negative comment about you.
Just my mum when I got in. You could have jabbed more, so I still got the the criticism. Don't worry.
But Ellie was talking after the fight, and it looks now like you're fully comfortable with your style. You know what you are now, don't you? Know who you are. You're happy with everything. You're happy with your setup. You're happy with your team, and it looks like it's all clicked into place now.
It truly felt like that, and I thought what was more, refreshing was that it was at the beginning of the year that I kind of, as soon as my feet hit those ring, I was like, this is the place I need to be in, the place I belong. So yeah, I feel like I've really found my feet in there now, and sitting as 10-0, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this year more than ever.
Yeah, and you're missing the gym already.
They're not missing me, I know that for sure. But yeah, I feel like lost, like itchy knuckles. I think I'm gonna end up sparring my mum if it goes any longer.
Tell people the injuries you picked up as well, Ellie, because it got brushed over at the end. But
yeah, in the fourth round, it was an old injury that obviously I pulled out of the first fight initially with, and yeah, my calves just blew up. So my calf tear, and then as that went on, obviously the little cut in the first round, and then I had an infected tooth. I weighed in, and I just felt a bit of a pain, but didn't think much of it. Ended up with a cold, and then yeah, I've got a tooth infection that I'm going to be getting out. So the tooth fairy might be a little bit skint this week. So yeah, I've had a bit of a nightmare, but I got the win, and that's all that matters.
Well, congratulations, and everyone here, because look, it's just great to see you getting the love, and you deserve it. So well done.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Steve.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll talk a bit of boxing now. Lot coming up. Boxing season's really underway now. Your fight last week, great matchroom show the weekend, and there was the Adam Azim fight the weekend. Great weekend of boxing. And of course, Del Boy's in action this week, but John's a bit stricter on his bell than he used to be. So after 3 minutes, we have to zip the lip. You can see him nodding there.
2 minutes for the females, but we'll do 3.
3 minutes for you. We're gonna have you boxing over 15 threes before you retire.
Old school. She's going back to the 80s here.
Yeah.
Are you ready, John? 3 minutes, Ellie. Yeah, everything's ready.
Well, I'll tell you what, John, you start the first 3 minutes, round 1. Del Boy's best moments. He's in action this week, so fire away, John.
Yeah, Del Boy's last fight in Britain this weekend, fighting Otto Walling. Stinker of a fight, I think, for poor Del Boy. I think he might have a long night, but it doesn't really matter, does it? He's at the stage where it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. He's a bit of a hero. But what's your favourite Del Boy moment? For me, it is when he went over to Germany and boxed Vitaly Klitschko. The stories of that weekend are ridiculous. Stopping to go sledging and have snowball fights on the way to the press conference, then slapping Vitaly, spitting at Wladimir, fighting really well, and then ending up in a brawl with David Hayes. That's set the legend of Chisora that weekend. So I love him to bits. But what's your favourite memory of Del Boy?
Well, I'll just be quick. That's my worst memory of Doughboy. I was a Box Nation reporter that week. I was on the mountain with him when he was going down sledging on the Wednesday before the fight. He was a nightmare all week, let's be honest. Anyway, but there's still a lot of great memories of him. And the KO of Carlos Takam, brilliant. He just had that fight with Joshua. People were even talking to the Joshua rematch. He's trailed on points. He pulls it out. That's my favourite Doughboy memory. And even though he made my life hell for a week in Munich, I do love him.
I agree there with you. I feel like he's most known in his favourite moments are sometimes out of the ring for the chaos that he brings. And, you know, like from when he had the dust up with Booth, like he's just someone that always brings drama, whether that's in the ring. I think as well, like we'll remember him for his losses as well, like putting Usyk to the brim. And I still believe out of the Brits, he gave him one of the, regardless of the low blow from the boy, I feel like Usyk really had a hard night there with Chisora. But for me, I feel like being there at the Joyce fight and witnessing that and just what he goes through, what he's willing to go for, it's war every time. And I just feel like the Joyce fight kind of, if you look at his resume, would you say that was one of his best wins? Probably, like Takam as well. But I just think in the matter, he's like a cat of nine lives. I think he's on 21. Madness.
It's crazy.
What's your favourite?
To keep fighting as hard as he does after 12 losses as well. You know, there's not an ounce of quitting him. Never once has he took the option. You know, 12 defeats. He's not getting a world title fight, but he just puts himself through hell every single outing. It's crazy. There's not been a fight like hell for years.
I don't think there will be either.
It's just that mad personality you touched on as well. And so I remember that week in Munich where he was in this awful mood on the Wednesday before the fight in this people carrier. Everyone's on edge. He'd started on me hours earlier and for no reason. And then he suddenly saw these kids sledging during the German half-term holidays down this mountain, stopped this people carrier, middle of fight week. He's gone up the mountain sledging with these kids. Madness. And he was happy then. I tell you, round two, it's what it's all about. We spoke last week, Ellie, about what makes a good show. And I just said good matchmaking, evenly matched fights. And I just think Friday's Matchroom, Bill, was just that. I know you were there. I was listening. You were doing the commentary, Ellie. I thought all four fights had their own dramatic. Georgie Visoli showed he's a world-class prospect. That Lucero who he beat is decent, believe it or not. He'd never give him a chance to look decent. That's a decent Mexican. I know him well. I nearly brought him over here a few months ago. Lydia Azagzi, the top of the bill. Great learning fight. The Junaid Boston fight had everything to the argument afterwards. And even Jimmy Sains, that French guy, how game he was. That is what the perfect TV show is. We've got all these people on social media said before, this isn't a TV-worthy show. That was brilliant the other night. Brilliant job by Tom Dallas there making those matches. That was one of the most enjoyable 2-3 hours of boxing I've watched in a long time. Fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, I was sitting there, I was laughing before the show started. I said, Tom Dallas might be playing musical chairs with this matchmaking because it was that. And I felt like the idea of the next gen is for us to get someone that will become a headliner that we can invest and we all can get behind. But you look at that card, even from Taylor Bevan on Before the Bell, Lily Buttigieg was in with James Todd, and that was one of the best Before the Bell.
I watched that on the YouTube. Yeah, sensational.
Prospects in, and it's like normally we don't see that until they're 15-0 and they've been built up and they get the gut test, and sometimes that's too late. Whereas now they're getting chucked in early, and generally I love the show from top to bottom. It was better. I'm saying it now. It was better than the show I was on. 100%.
It was brilliant. James Todd, I forgot to mention James Todd screamed at the doctor when he was looking at it to stop it because of the eye.
It was like a golf ball. He's the toughest. I'm telling you now, if a prospect gets his name, they're going to be like, no, thanks. I want more money.
Thanks to EE, I've got no internet at the minute, so I'm struggling. But it's like we said last week, isn't it? It doesn't matter the names are on or anything like that. And it's much better to have a load of kids like that in even fights than just people call cards stacked when it's just all the left-hand side. Yeah. And you know exactly who's going to win. They're all 1-25 on. We can't even get a decent accumulator, can we, Scotney?
I can never anyway.
It's far much better when it's prospects in fights. And as you said, like Jimmy Sains pushed his case a little bit more, underrated knockout artist. Junaid got a real gut chest. gut check. We get to see what he's all about, and yeah, something for everybody. That's exactly what we want to see, isn't it?
Yeah, Visoli I thought was fantastic, absolutely brilliant.
Good.
Scary.
Round three, we're going to go with you, Ellie, and Wladimir Klitschko. We're making these rumours of a comeback. What are your thoughts on him coming back?
It is. I don't want to see it. But I can understand. So he's sitting at home and he's watching the whole Saudis come alight, right? And he's looking, look how much money these guys are getting, and I missed that wave. So you're sitting there, and someone that, you know, I feel like he looks 21 still. He's like a waxwork, isn't he? He generally is. So he's probably looking at that thinking, I still can get in there, and watching some of these heavyweights and think I can beat them and earn probably triple what I did for winning a world title. So I get why he wants to be part of the show, but I just feel like, you know, you've cemented your name as a legend. Don't tarnish it. Like Mike Tyson boxing Jake Paul. It's just, I get, you know, for the money's sake, but for their name and their legacy, I just feel like it's not needed.
Yeah, it just shows money can buy that legacy, doesn't it? If he comes back, I mean, I'm wondering if he's going to fight David Haye, because I heard a few weeks ago David Haye was looking for a fight this year. Then I saw Haye get a sore tie. Then I saw Hayes' video again. A video of Hayes today about news to come, and you know he does tease you, Hayes. You know, it could be a poker competition or something, but that's a sort of fight that wouldn't surprise me at all. He come back, and you know what? And do I really want to see him come back? Of course not. But everybody has a price, you know. And if the Saudi or someone's offering him lunatic money, as you say, I think you hit the nail on the head. He earned great money, but he missed that wave of what's about now. If he'd been 10 years younger, 12 years younger, but he had his ability, he would be earning the 70 million for a night's work.
Easy.
Yeah. I tell you what, John, initially dead against it. You know, we heard rumours of Dubois possibly fighting him, didn't we? And I would hate to see him come back again and fight a Moses Italma or someone try and take the name off him. Do you know what? If he came back and boxed David Haye, I'd watch that. I can't.
Yeah, no, that generally.
I'm not going to lie. God. If David Haye comes back and fights Wladimir on a Saudi show, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to watch every single second of that.
You know what? I'd have no interest in it. Sorry?
Turkey's like in fantasy, isn't he? Like, you know, when you get the Football Manager, you can play with your old schools and put them in. That's what he's thinking. Like, there's no concept of weights or ages. It's insane. I love it.
Well,
I was there in Hamburg that night. Yeah, I was there in Hamburg that night when we got off. So fingers crossed, we might actually get to see what we should have seen first time. So yeah, if he comes back and fights Haye, I'm all for it. Anyone under the age of 35, get against it.
Yeah, I'm in.
Did we go over on this round, John?
No.
Yeah. Oh, a quick.
You're good at this, Steve.
Yeah, John, favourite venue in Britain you want to talk about?
Yeah, struggling for a topic, to be perfectly honest with you. So I came up favourite venue in Britain because we've got the brand new Manchester Co-op Arena. It looks like it's really trying to make a name for itself here. You know, we had Catterall, we've got Chisora this week, and then Catterall again next week, and it looks like it's trying to take away from the MEN, but it's got a long way to go. Scotney's boxed all over Britain, from TV studios in Peterborough to the O2 Arena, so she'll have a good idea about it. But for me, it's the MEN still. The MEN's got like a special feeling about it. You know, so much has happened there, so many big nights. Yeah, and I just think that's the one at the minute until something takes it off it.
Yeah, I might pop in there Saturday night and watch the show. I should do. I live about 3-4 miles from there, so I should go there Saturday. I'm going football first, so I'll see if Fulham have won or what. See if I'm in a good mood. But yeah, I tell you what, I'm gonna be boring. I just love York Hall. Been going there since I was a kid. Love Manor Place. And I tell you what, I used to love, and I was thinking of you, Ellie, Lewisham Theatre.
Yes.
Or what's it called now? Catford something or other. That was brilliant. It was sort of with the shape of it and all that. Some great Sky Nights there on a Monday night that Maloney used to put on.
Oh, do you know
that's a good venue. I'm boring and I love York Hall.
You're old school.
I'm very old school. I used to love Battersea Town Hall because I lived there. Yeah, I love these. I'm not for these big arenas, mate.
Spitting sawdust, you are. Sawdust.
What's your favourite, Ellie?
Me personally, probably because it's so local and just I'd say the O2. I generally would, but I do understand the MEN, and I feel like always going to hold a special place because of like obviously Hatton, how many nights he had there, and then Billy Graham being part of my night there. So that always holds a nice feel. And I just feel like the shape of it, and like you say, all of our biggest nights have always probably been in the MEN. So I would go O2.
What's the best one to fight in, Ellie? What's the best one, like with a change in a ring walk and walking out? What's the one you've enjoyed most?
Horrendous. Like I felt like I was I was in Fulham's football ground in the away corner. It was I didn't like that. And then Wembley Arena, it was really hot and small. So in terms of Manchester or the O2 had the best sort of warm up areas. York Hall is off the radar, isn't it?
Unbelievable, isn't it?
The caravan toilet.
Unbelievable. I found a bit the other week. I didn't even know they used as a dressing room. I was at a cruise on the other week, and there's an away bit for the away dressing room, and it's a tiny Pilates studio right up behind the swimming pool.
It's savage.
Incredible, isn't it? So all the away fighters were crammed.
What about Liverpool Olympia, where they had to stop doing shows because there was no hot water?
Oh yeah, that place. That is something else. That would take some beating for changing facilities. Yeah. Unbelievable. So round 5, we're gonna go to America here, and guy I'm a bit of a fan of. I know he never turned up against Inouye, but Stephen Fulton. He got some redemption at the weekend when he picked up a featherweight title, winning against Brandon Figueroa. A lot more clearer than their first fight. And you know what? I'm a big fan of Fulton. I remember about 6-7 years ago coming over here by himself, just flying to Manchester and going to train with Carl Frampton for 3 weeks. Followed him ever since, kept in touch with him a little bit. And you know what? I'm just really pleased to see him get back and in there. You know, he's talking of Inouye again. Forget that fight. But it's great fights for him. And he could be someone ideal for Nick Ball. But he's a terrific fella. And he's someone, you know, he is, you know, a lot of these American guys who win world titles now, they're all given the superstar treatment. He is a blue-collar fighter. He come over here and he was in the VIP gym for about 3 weeks training with Carl Frampton. And during those 3 weeks, when he started training at first, he didn't look anything special. And he just got better and better and better over those 2-3 weeks. And by the end of it, he was really competing with Carl. And he's just gone on. Yeah, and he's recovered him from that Inouye loss. And I just think he deserves some props. Because, although, you know, that Inouye loss is still going to what people are thinking of him with.
Yeah, I tell you what, he deserves credit for as well, having the best fight kit I've seen for ever.
Oh, brilliant, wasn't it? The Timberland kit, the jeans.
Timberland boots and denim shorts. That's the best. He looked like he should be fighting Kimbo Slice in a backyard in Miami.
He's a blue-collar man. He's a blue-collar man.
Yeah, it was brilliant. But yeah, well done to him. Go on,
it was some fight kit, wasn't it? And I thought if you can do the business in Tim's, that's a different kind of level. But like I agree with you, the only thing that I felt was disappointed from the weekend is it kind of went missing, like under the radar.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
and I just thought, no, credit this guy. He's not just done it at 1 weight; he's done it at 2 weights. And like you say, he won the rematch. They obviously boxed previously at Super-Bantamweight, but you know it was more decisive this time. And there's great fights from him at featherweight and big money to be made for him, as we say, like with the Saudis putting on that and Nick Ball becoming the man that kind of holds the gate. So I just feel like I hope he starts to get his flowers because he ain't got the, you know, not the swag, but the vocal of the Americans. And I like that. I really do. I'm a fan.
He's someone I won't be surprised he fought Nick Ball in a unification for proper money. That's the sort of fight that could happen.
He could fight stylistically.
Yeah. Terrific. Oh, Styles would be brilliant. That's a fight that would really excite me. Cool. We're flying through this tonight. Round 6, rematches in trilogies. Well, trilogies really. Yard for 3. Do we need that sort of trilogy, Ellie?
I don't think so at all. I feel like, okay, Linda did a really good job in the first, but I just think the way the second fight went, and it's been a long time in between. I wouldn't say most have done anything to kind of call for each other's name either. And I just think if you look at the domestic scene, it's probably the least name that we lick our lips at if you put them two together. In my opinion, I don't think it makes much sense. But in terms of what does warrant a trilogy, like even look at Katie Taylor and Serrano, they're talking about a third fight, but it's 2-0.
I want to see that,
But we'd want to see that even if they're in a Vladimir and a Hayes situation where they're 40 years old, we say put them back in. They're probably 40 soon, actually. But
Yeah.
I just feel like it's just they've dragged each other's names, and I don't see any interest in that fight whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. I mean, John's a bit more nose to the ground around the Manchester gyms. He might have seen Lyndon around that's made him something different. But I just think the way Yard won that second fight so decisively,
Yeah.
I just don't see the call for it. But obviously, look, they're getting well paid, so good luck to them in that sense. But it's not a fight that's gonna make me want to tune in. Well, I'd watch it if I'm about. But be honest with you, and I'd sound like I'm being, and I love boxing. It's very good to me. I've got no interest in Eubank Ben either on that bill. Or little interest. John?
No, we spoke about it, didn't we, last week? I like fights that mean something, and that doesn't mean anything. If Ben wins, he's not staying at middleweight. If Eubank wins, he's beating a welterweight. It doesn't matter. So that's got no interest to me. But I just think we see way too many rematches anyway. And it seems to me like if an away fighter gets an upset, you have to do it twice. It's like 2 pinfalls in wrestling. It's wrong, The home fighter gets an immediate chance to put the wrong right. They should have to earn a rematch. I've seen people saying Scott Forrest is going to get a rematch from getting stopped quickly at weekend. Well, Scott should have to get a win or 2 before he comes back for that. But it seems to be like an automatic thing. We'll run it back. Well, no, you should have to earn the chance to run it back. I just think there's too many rematches, full stop.
Yeah, I didn't know there was talk of a Scott Forrest rematch. I thought the stoppage was perfect. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought it was a bit of a wild card because they did it late. I've always heard about, Denzel Bentley or Dan Aziz talking about the other fight. I can't think of his name now, the one who beat Scott.
Was it Ignat Oriel? Is it Ignat, was it?
Yeah. But they warned me about him from time ago. So when I see him warming up, and I was like, that's him. I messaged Evans. I said, I don't think this is going to be how it's been predicted by the bookies. So, yeah, I don't see how that does warrant a rematch.
No. Wow. That's flown. 6 rounds have flown by tonight. 6 rounds. 6 rounds. Whoa. Wow. And I'll tell you what, you were a brilliant guest, Ellie. Will you come back on in a few months and we won't get you off the subs bench? See, we won't get you off the subs bench, I promise you. What a way to wait at someone who owns 3 world title belts, bring him off the subs bench. Terrible of us, that is. But you know what?
You don't get many number 1 in the world ring champions being able to make a fight date at such short notice, do you? Straight off the suspense, straight into action there.
That was me. And I went on for 3 minutes.
Proper person, you are proper.
I still did all the rounds though.
Yeah, you're proper. You're few like you're unique, brilliant. But I tell you what, Ellie, I mean that. Thanks for joining us. You've been an absolute superstar. John, thanks as always, and I hope you get your internet back on so we can see you a bit clearer and you get some boxing. You can get boxing on the TV at the weekend.
Don't want to see me clearer. This is good. Pixelated's good.
It's because he's on next door's internet. Don't listen to him.
That's what it is. Yeah, nicking their Wi-Fi. Yeah. Hey, he's from Oldham way. The things they get up to up in Oldham, you don't want to know, Ellie. Or Chadderton, wherever it is. It Chadderton, Oldham? I don't know what you come under, John, but you're up the road from me anyway. In this part of Manchester, mate.
The nice part of Oldham.
There's a nice part.
The nice part.
Where John is, it's not so nice where I am. The Alsatians walk around in pairs here. But anyway, thanks everyone for watching, listening, wherever you are, YouTube, Spotify, or iTunes. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all next week. We ready, Darren?
For all boxing info, news, and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north.